Hello, everyone. We are back again. This is Arsenal Fan Circle. Is the Sunday show, and want to welcome my usual guests, Gary and Tony.
Hello.
Um,
See, I got Darren and got G in the chats. Welcome, everyone.
you got us muted now, Tony. I think you're
Yep.
the culprit, right? You're the culprit. Put your hand up. You were the guy who had an audio.
I barely had it up. I
Yeah.
thought I had it all the way off.
Listen, stage one, Gary, is over. The Scottish tour is done. I want to welcome a few new people in here in the chats here. G Talks Arsenal. Thanks for joining us. G Talks Arsenal. Good to see you. A new name around here. Gary, welcome everyone. Darren. Hi, sorry. I used my old YouTube account. No problem, Darren. Great to have you here. Hey, Gary.
Yep.
And I'm on Malibu and Coke. Okay,
Wow.
very good. Hi all. Let's talk Arsenal. Yeah. Real quickly, people will probably be coming on after the Formula One race. I, for one, being a Ferrari fan, a little bit saddened that Charles Leclerc didn't get there in the end, Gary. But Hamilton, he's good. Hamilton is good.
Yeah, I just picked it up with I think with about 15 laps to go, and saw that he was behind by a lot. Was looking for him at the top. He was looking for Verstappen at the top as well, right? So I didn't see him anywhere. So I was like, "Uh-oh, what's going on here?" So it was good to see it, and then see him just walk him down. Basically, he was like, "Wow, 10 seconds." He's like behind 10 seconds with 10 laps to go, and he just caught him. Yeah. So, he got the penalty. So I guess, you get penalized for something, and then I guess that woke him up, and he was perfect from there on out. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
it was good to see.
Great result for the home Formula One Grand Prix of Silverstone. So great to see crowds there, and it's something, Gary, we're going to be looking forward to for Arsenal this coming season as well. Crowd.
Well, you see the thing, and that's the thing, right? You could tell he had the momentum going in his favor, even though he was behind. So, like you said, if we can see that from our team, and we know, it's just a matter of games. Every game we're going to get better and better and better, and we're going to catch people. So be it. I'll take that. So yeah.
Darren doesn't do Formula One, and that's fine. This is an Arsenal stream. We're not going to be talking about Formula One for the next hour and a half. We're transitioning very quickly to Arsenal, Gary. Right?
But it's also the British Open is on. So it's a busy day. Not only do you have Arsenal Fan Circle, you got Formula One, you got the British Open. I mean,
who cares about golf?
Hey, it's sport. Hey,
it's not a sport. It's rich white guys chasing a white ball around.
Hey, the guy leading it isn't white, so chill out with that.
I know. Tiger Woods was one of the best players there until he had his unfortunate accident. So, thanks for sharing the podcast. Gary, you got anything else to add there?
Huh?
Oh, I thought you were going to banter with Tony a bit more.
Oh no, he's stuck in his ways. He doesn't understand his sport is more than just one thing.
Yeah.
It's not. There is Arsenal, but there is a lot of other things going on out there where people have to be. Yeah.
We all have portfolios. I'm for one from Ireland, and I'm glad that my team Kildare progressed to the Leinster final. And people in Ireland will know that's not going to mean much because we're going to come up against Dublin, and Dublin are like Man United in the 90s, a juggernaut. You just can't get past them. Well, Arsenal got past them in the late 90s. But listen, a little bit later, Tony, welcome to the podcast, Tony.
Hello.
All right. Ready to get stuck into this. Gary, first thing, Gary, is Arsenal going to do a madness this summer? Are we going to spend 100 million plus?
Yeah. Well, we had our bet going on, and I guess I don't know if due to some technicalities, you get to win again.
No, well,
it's kind of a draw right now.
Gary, it was always a friendly bet, and those who are watching, I told Gary over a month ago, relax, and we set a date of July 16th that we would have the majority of our targets in the door. I mean, a technicality, Ben White's not in the door, but it's been agreed. So
He's in the door.
yeah. So we have Tavares, Lakanga, Gary, and now Ben White. And are we going to do more than this?
We have to. We have to. We don't have any depth in the midfield, right? So regardless of who we pick up, we still need some. We need quality. We need some starters. I thought we need at least 3 starters to see this thing through. Ben White is 1 starter. Be nice to get 2 more, but if we just get 1 more in the one more maybe in the midfield, I don't know, then we'll be fine there.
Sounding like a pretty much a done deal now.
Who is?
Arwar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, strong links that we're going to go and do that. A player that we were chasing, Tony, last season for double the money,
Yeah, that doesn't make much sense to me. I don't know why we haven't already signed him if he's available for half the price we were looking at last summer.
Yeah.
And look, the way I see this is that we have a lot of options. But we have our number 1 option, number 2 option, number 3 option. But those targets, they're looking at other clubs as well, Tony. So it may not. While we may want a certain player for our midfield, that player may be waiting for a Liverpool or a team on the continent to come and get them as well. So that's the difficulty. I think everybody's waiting for the chips to fall. And so, Alonso, thanks for joining.
Hello.
Hi. G Talks Arsenal says Tavares, Lakanga, and White already done. 100 million easy. And I'm poking Gary a little bit. July 16th, we had these 3 players. Agreed. Let's just say agreed in principle, Gary.
Yeah. Well, you said half, so right. So if Arsenal goes out and gets 7 players, then it's not half, all right? So we'll see. So we'll see. I mean, I think 6 would be really good, right? 5 would be good as well, because especially if it looks like they're going to keep certain players that we probably thought would be gone, right? So I don't know who those players are just yet, but I have a feeling I could be able to get rid of everybody. So let's see who they keep. But I definitely feel like, it'd be nice to get a right back, but we've heard absolutely nothing about a right back. So
yes, we have.
Who?
Tilo, whatever.
Yeah, there's been a lot of. This is the summer where you're going to get silly season. I call it silly season.
But that's not, when I say that, I mean that's just recent, right? That's just like this week, right? That name's come up.
About 2 weeks ago.
Oh, is it? Okay. I guess I didn't catch that one as far as a right back, but I am.
It's a very soft whisper.
But I think we need more than one option, right? So that's where I kind of feel like if I don't hear more than one option, then I know it's probably not as high on their list, right? Yeah. So
we're gonna dive into the preseason game yesterday. Highs and lows, good and bad, and downright ugly and brilliant out of that. We're going to dive into, obviously, the positions that we need to still fill.
Midfield.
Yeah. Maybe a striker. Who knows?
I don't want a striker. Gary says we don't need one.
Ben White, that's cool. Same surname as me, LOL. And G Talks Arsenal. The question is, will we address the other areas? Midfield, right back, goalkeeper, and maybe a center forward as well. All very good questions as well. Tybe, thanks for joining us. Hello, everyone. So we're warming up. As the Formula One cars are cooling off, we're warming up here. Has Granit Xhaka left yet?
No, unfortunately.
No, unfortunately not yet.
It sounds like it's kind of starting to fall apart again with him. And
it's the long goodbye. It's the long goodbye. Arteta says Tybe. And, like we said in the last podcast, if things don't start coming together, all the ingredients that we're going to pick up this summer and what we did toward the end of last season, the last half, I keep pulling for December 26th. If all of that doesn't come together in one nice ingredient that we like come August 13th and onwards, everyone's going to start saying Arteta out sooner or later. If Lacazette is going, no harm in having another striker. Definitely. We're going to talk about the options as well. But Alonso, did you see the game yesterday? No. So
no, I had work. But I saw the goals that were scored, and they're pretty nice goals. Just the one from Tavares. So
Yeah.
it was like he's like he looks like he could be an offensive threat going forward. But again, he's Tierney's backup, and I think that's a good pickup for Arsenal.
Definitely.
Because we all know how Tierney's always hurt, or not always, but he could pick up injuries here and there. So it's good to have a former backup.
Yeah, Gary, a position that hurt us last season. We didn't have that left back cover. We tried to cover with a makeshift, a Swiss Army knife in Granit Xhaka as a left back. But we saw
He's
yesterday.
not a Swiss Army knife.
Well, he's Swiss, right?
Yeah, but he ain't no
Swiss
Army
team.
knife.
He's a Swiss knife then, all right? We'll give him that.
He's a Swiss knife. So the Swiss Army knife has everything in its locker, right, Gary?
Yeah, this one's kind of missing a couple of items that you might need. Yeah. No, Tavares, if you looked at any of his YouTube videos and stuff like that, which you should do at least to get the good parts, right? You can see that offensively he's going to be a really good positive player for us, much more than a Xhaka. Where he's going to be lacking, which is one of the things you're going to have to take with this kind of a deal, picking up a player to sit behind Tierney, is that his defense still needs some work. But hopefully that just means he's going to be behind. He's going to have some time to kind of learn his craft as far as on the defensive side, because he sees he's athletic and whatnot. So, hopefully he can use that to improve, we can use that to improve his defense. But offensively, he looked really good. That shot, the shot that he made, and then I'm looking at other players, and I will probably get into this, and I'm going, okay, tell me. I understand it's preseason, but if our left back can do that in the first I forgot when he scored. When did he score here? He scored 25 minutes. Yeah, 25 minutes into his first game with Arsenal, and we get that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at other players going, wow. How can I explain to everyone that, it's preseason, so, people are still trying to figure out what's going on here, but our left back can come in and do that, right? And it wasn't a tip in. It didn't come off his foot wrong. His eyes weren't closed. It wasn't under any kind of pressure, none of that. It was under pressure. He didn't have much time to think about it. Got off his foot cleanly. Goalkeeper had no choice, no chance. Yeah.
So, Darren, you're not talking too much at all. Keep it coming, Darren. And it's my job to try to keep up with everybody in the chat section. So sometimes we get behind. Sometimes we can stay the same pace as the chat box. And sometimes I'm just way behind, and the chat box goes on its own life, Gary. But we saw yesterday, Gary, and what you're talking about with Tavares, hunger. This is what you get when you target the right type of players: hunger, enthusiasm, will to succeed, drive, and maybe willingness to take on coaching as well.
Sure. No, definitely, and that's, I guess, that's what we're missing from some of our crucial spots where we have a lot of money tied up, right? Aubameyang, does he have that fire and drive to do better and be clinical in front of goal that make it easy for us for him to get picked? Lacazette, I think he just doesn't give us some of the things that we want, right? And Balogun and Martinelli are just young, so for me, it's a waiting progress for them. So you've got 4 forwards, 4 scorers, 4 strikers, whatever you want to call it. I think somebody's gonna have to go, right?
Ryan's poking you.
I don't know what I'm talking. Ryan, if you want to go to sleep, I got some more for you.
It's a nice Sunday afternoon, Ryan. So you might think it's warm. You might want to take. Actually, I understand it's very warm in England as well.
Yeah. I have to say, don't. I was about to say it wrong because that's what Tayyip asking me. Damsgaard. I don't know if I got it right this time, but
getting closer.
Getting closer.
Damsgaard.
Listen,
we'll take that. Tony, we're going to get around to everyone again. Tony, that goal from Tavares, It's a kind of sequence of play that Arteta's trying.
You finally said his name right.
Tavares.
Yep.
Yep. It's a sequence of play that Arteta is trying to bring into the game. We saw David Luiz striding forward and playing those cross-field passes to the left back many times last season. Today, I think it was Rob Holding that played a great pass to Tavares. And, this is what we want Ben White to be doing as well when he gets into the side. So that sequence of play from the right centre-back, right wing, right back area into that forward left area is something that we're trying to take advantage of. We've seen that many times last season.
Yeah, it's what Arteta likes. To me, it's still coming too much from the back. I like to see the ball going forward more, especially up through the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Still seems to be going up through the flanks instead of down the middle. Hopefully we get the players where we can drive more down the middle of the pitch.
Yeah. Alonso, well taken. As Gary mentioned, as Gary prefaced, well taken goal once Tavares controlled that ball, the pace of the ball, helped him control it, get past the fullback. And he kind of did what you'd expect Aubameyang to do in that situation, right?
Yeah, and it kind of shows you that Tavares is sitting in pretty well with the team. Being he has only been here for a week, right, something like that, like maybe 5 days. So it kind of shows you that he belongs on the team, and it's kind of good knowing that he could have the confidence to take that shot when it goes in. And so, fair play to him. Oftentimes, though, I think lately players have struggled to fit in, kind of, and because Arsenal has gotten a little bit cliquish recently, and so it's kind of cool to see him do well in first game.
Yeah, definitely. Like Gary, like you said, first game debut makes an impact, and as G Talks Arsenal says, we need to see more to judge what he will be like defensively. But going forward, he's going to be a problem for opposition. We kind of knew that. A lot of people talking about he had a left foot. He has definitely got a right foot, Gary. Defensively, he's put some credit in the bank with Arsenal fans right now. We're always going to look at the highs and lows, and the high was, yesterday a goal for him, but he does have a defensive mistake in him. But obviously, if he grows, and he's not going to play a lot of games next season, that's probably the best case scenario is that he's going to learn this season, Gary.
Yeah, and that's good for us, right? Because there's no rush, and if he knows what he's got to work on, we're fine. And when he does come on, if he can do things like that, then I think that'd be a plus. Because when he comes in, more than likely it's hopefully because we've got leads, right? And we want to get Tierney out and to get him some rest. So when he comes in, maybe he'll have opportunities to go forward when the time matters, and he'll be able maybe put a lot of pressure on the other team. So yeah, I'm looking. I think as long as the communication, as long as he understands where he sits, I think we'll be fine. All right. So yeah.
Tony, the other thing with Tavares is he can develop through the League Cup and the FA Cup. Tierney can be a specialist Premier League player for us, and maybe instead of having 26 starts in the Premier League, he could push it to closer to 30, 31, 32. So we can get some more longevity out of Kieran Tierney. Because this signing of Tavares is for the future. It's also to protect hopefully, our future captain,
Yeah, hopefully we see more of the youth players in the cup games. Last year we really didn't see much of them except for the group stages of Europa. Other than that, it's pretty much the senior players. Hopefully we get to see those guys feature, see what they have, give them the experience they need, give the other guys the rest they need, especially with mainly one game a week, except for the odd cup game we have.
It's something that we as a squad are going to have to adjust to, Tony. One game a week pretty much in the league can present its own difficulties with a large squad as well. And I think Arteta needs to start honing in on his best 11 or best 15 players, best 16 players, Tony.
Yeah.
Much
to add on to that?
Yeah, the striking situation, Alonso, is a bit of a worry with Aubameyang.
Yeah, and you would think that since this is since Arteta, tends to play him over, let's say, Martinelli or whomever else, Pepe or Saka, or it's the same how he says he doesn't know his starting 11 ever until last year, so it is concerning. I thought about that while I was driving in the car. I was like, this is exactly why we're not very good as a team, because he doesn't know our best 11. Whenever Lacazette could have been there in the beginning of the season, we struggled with Eddie and Nketiah playing up front, and Aubameyang just didn't have it last year, and we kind of knew why, but there's no excuse if you're a captain as well and the highest paid player in the team. So there's something that he has to work out on. I think that there's also, there's a lot of youngsters coming up that has to learn how to trust, which is not his strong point either. So it's kind of sad how late in the season you still don't know what your strongest 11 start. You still don't know what your strongest starting 11 is, and it's kind of shocking actually.
Yes, G Talks Arsenal said the striker situation is definitely a concern. Aubameyang off form, Lacazette not clinical enough, Balogun not quite ready to be relied upon. We seem to Martinelli's that hybrid between the left wing and striker position, so he oftentimes gets overlooked. I mean, maybe it's because he's one of our shining lights up front, Balogun,
maybe it's because he doesn't play much.
Hasn't played. Eddie definitely needs to go, Tony. So what's your feeling on Nketiah?
Bye-bye. Adios.
Yeah, we could definitely upgrade in that position if Nketiah goes and we get another striker in. I've been thinking about this. Obviously, DCL, Dominic Calvin, Lewis.
We're not going to be spending that much money on a striker.
Hudson Edouard. And lately I've been thinking, Tony, Ollie Watkins.
Yeah, I'd go with Edouard. He's available 15 to 20 million. You sell Eddie or you sell Nelson, you easily can go buy him.
I would just like to be that protagonist, Gary. If Aston Villa were walking the walk with Emile Smith-Rowe, why shouldn't we mess with them and put some bids in for Ollie Watkins? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think that, that's not Arteta. And I guess before I forget, I'm drinking vitamin water. It's airborne, so no coconut water. I already had my coconut drink today. I made a coconut milk with mango. So that's what I drank today, but I had it earlier. But yeah,
beverages are served with a snack on this airline.
Go back to booze, Gary. Go back to beer.
It's kind of early, but I don't know. Maybe later. So talking about the strikers, so there's a lot to digest there, right? Aubameyang, Lacazette, that's a lot of money we've got tied up in those two players. And unless we can sell them, I think Arteta is just going to stick with them, right? And those are going to be his core forwards, strikers going forward. I think if he could sell one of them, I think then we would, I could see us going out and getting someone who could compete for the starting position, because that Patson Daka, he looked like a really good player. Edouard as well. I mean, I think before Brenton actually made it into went through the playoffs and whatnot and got through, Tony was also another player that was on the on the list of players that we could probably get, right? So
not that guy.
Not this Tony. The other Tony. The Tony with an E. The Tony with the E. Yeah. So I think we're stuck because we can't sell, and we definitely can't sell those two players for anything worth. I guess I would say sell them and try to sell one of them. I would think that would be okay for me, because if you sell Lacazette, which I think is the easiest one to sell, you bring somebody in like an Edouard, he's going to want to play, right? He's going to push Aubameyang, and maybe he'll pull along some of those players behind him as well, right? If that is Balogun, if he's staying, I mean, Balogun looks like he could go on loan, and that'd probably be okay as well, right? So there's a lot to digest there. And like I said, when you compare what I saw from the first 25 minutes of Tavares, and then you look at what Aubameyang did in that first half, can we blame it on preseason? He had a header, missed it. He had a shot off the left-hand side, well over the bar, and then he was in front of the goal, and one of them's got to go in, right? If not all three of them, we would expect all three of them to go in that type of game. We're playing teams that we need to put away early, right? Especially, so I for his confidence, I don't think it's good. For the team going forward, I don't think it's good, right? So, because we need him to because he doesn't have much time, right? As much as we think about it, a month from now, right? We already played our first game of the match, and then we're talking about Chelsea. I think it's next, right?
3.5 weeks. 3.5 weeks.
Yeah.
It's Brentford at home.
Yeah, but then at this on the 18th, so the Sun. So this is today is Sunday. So whatever that Sunday 4 weeks from now, will that be the Chelsea? Is it the Chelsea game? I think, right?
Yeah, it will be the Sunday. It will be the Chelsea because it'll be the 20th of August 21st of August because we're actually going the first game.
Yeah.
Opening day this season is going to be Friday.
Okay.
13th. Friday the 13th, Gary.
Yeah.
All wrong.
See, if it's Friday the 13th, you know what? Here it is, the Arsenal scripted how things are going to start. We start on Friday the 13th, and then we play Chelsea and City just to just as a starter, right? We haven't even got to the main course yet, and we're like looking at these starters, going, "Oh my, this is."
The Chelsea game is on the 22nd. It's
8 days. It's going to be 9 days later. It'll be the Sunday.
So, wow.
22nd.
That's my birthday, dude.
All right.
So like
I said, a month from now we'll be playing the two top teams in the league.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that Arsenal win on my birthday. That'd be kind of cool, but whatever. They let me down before, so.
Ravenite FC said, Tony, is Noba known for his finishing? Why is that part of his game dissolved so much at Arsenal? Is it a lack of a commitment on his end, or does he not believe in the coach? So it doesn't put the work in to keep his level. I think he believes in the coach. I mean, we saw what happened in the FA Cup. He does believe in the coach. I think it's possibly due to his contract for me. Another reason could be he's playing through the middle, Tony.
Yeah, people say playing through the middle. He doesn't do anything there. You put him on the left, and you're keeping Pepe or somebody else out of the team. To me, it just doesn't fit the squad. Lacazette fits the squad. Now we're playing a 4-4-4-2. I think we definitely need an additional striker. Balogun isn't ready enough.
We're playing 4-4-2 just for the purposes of getting minutes into the legs. I don't for 1 minute think that we're going to go into the season playing 4-4-2.
Then why play it?
To get minutes into the legs. I just have
you
players
get minutes into the legs playing 4-2-3-1.
Would you take a punt on Danny Ings, Tony?
No.
I wouldn't either. Tony, Gary, take a punt on Danny Ings.
Mm-hmm.
If you got rid of Lacazette, probably. I mean, we need something. We need somebody to either push Aubameyang, or we need somebody who actually just recently, had a similar season to the one before. Right now, Aubameyang is trending downwards, and every time we watch him, it looks worse. Right. So I don't know what it is. I think it's mental. It's mental, and meaning mental in the sense that it's probably, it could be what Arteta's telling him. It could be himself kind of feeling the pressure, not only of that contract, but of that armband. It's all kind of restricting him a little bit. Maybe he could take that wristband, the armband off and give it to somebody else, maybe. Because I think he's got too much on his plate. We just want him scoring goals. We don't really care about him walking out with an armband on, talking to the media, all that stuff. Because right now he's not that type of a player. So I know it looks bad if you lose your captain, but he's not playing well. So it looks even worse. Right now you got a captain who's not even doing his job, is not motivating the teammates when they need to be pulled up because he's kind of, struggling himself. All right. So he doesn't have that mental fortitude to actually tell himself, you know what, let's get out of this. Let me show the team that I still got it. Follow me, jump on my back, I'll get us there. He doesn't have that. So I don't know. So to me, it should be easy to take the armband away from him, but he's gonna have to, he's gonna have to be, I guess, man enough to hand it over. I don't think that Arteta is gonna take it from him.
Gary, the season before last, he was that player. Put the team on my back, I'll carry it. He and Bernd Leno carried us through that season, and many would say almost single-handedly, Aubameyang was instrumental in us winning the FA Cup as well.
Yeah.
So what happened last season? Is he going to return to the Aubameyang from 2 seasons ago, or no?
Yeah. Do you see him smiling?
No.
And when he's smiling, good things are happening, right? It's just too much stress like I said, I think he's got too much on his plate. Arteta doesn't want to look bad by taking the armband away. But this is the times to be ruthless. Sometimes it's okay if you got it wrong, right? If you get the lineup wrong, you change things around sooner than later. You gave the armband to a player who it's probably just not. I understand sometimes they give these things with the contracts, but it's not helping him. I think he would rather get rid of the armband and score 20 goals a season.
Yeah.
Than have the armband and feel like he's got too much on his plate and he's struggling. I
agree. I agree with that, Gary. In the same way, you'd say, even though you're a striker, if you're going to win the league, a striker would take scoring 8 to 10 goals, and still winning the league. Players want to win things. Strikers want to play well and do these things. I think it's the beginning and the end, says John. Sad to say. Friday the 13th. Incoming referee blunder, Alonso. Arsenal fans crying about conspiracies and VAR. Here we go again.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that we wanted to have because we, as a club, got screwed over a lot. But then again, what's the point of having it? We never had it turn anything work right. So, yeah, and I think Gary's right. I think Aubameyang isn't captain material because it kind of adds more pressure to him. And like Gary said, we haven't seen Aubameyang smile in a long time, and so it's kind of worrisome because he's a happy-go-lucky kind of guy when things are going good, And so I think that this year is very important for him because we can't have any of that 10-goal crap like we did last year. This club has to succeed, right? Because this is Arsenal. We as fans can't have that being a 10th in the table kind of stuff anymore, because there's history there. There's history that we have to keep on going. We have to keep on going, top 4, top 2. We have to win the league pretty soon. And so he has to set standards,
Yeah, exactly. I want to ask this question to people in chats here as well, and I'll go around on everyone. I'll keep going with Alonso. I'll go counterclockwise this way and get back to Tony. If Alba does not score in the first 2 games, what would you do if you're Arteta, Alonso? He doesn't score against Brentford. Doesn't score against Chelsea back at home. First league game in the season at home. And you're going up to Manchester City. Do you make a change?
I do, because Aubameyang in the past has shown that he can't score against the top teams. Or he doesn't. He's not that clutch player that Lacazette is, and that's different because you're saying Lacazette's not clinical enough, but yet he seems to find a way to back him against the bigger clubs, right? Where Aubameyang struggles, and you're saying that Aubameyang's better player than Lacazette, and that's strange to me. But yeah, you have to bench him because that's giving away from my other player. Possibly helping out the team, like Martinelli, like a Pepe, like Maligan, if he's able to do that. So yeah, I mean, I would bench him.
G talks Arsenal. We hope Oba returns, but it's not looking good. Big call to be made on Oba at some point, and I'm saying that point comes after the second game, Tony. Say we beat Brentford, but Aubameyang doesn't score. We lose to Chelsea at home. Dare I say it, or a draw to Chelsea. Best case scenario, start scoring again. What do you do in the third game, Tony, if he's not sparked?
Well, I would have started him in the first two games. If we're going with a 4-2-3-1, you want to be in the squad to begin with. Brentford's the type of
He's the
teams
captain,
that he does score against.
let's just say he does play the first two games because he is the captain, and Arteta wants to give him that chance. He hasn't scored in the first two games. What do you do in the third one? It's pretty obvious. I think you're going to switch things up, right?
Well, last year Lacazette scored 3 goals in the first 3 games, and he got benched for Eddie for
He got rotated. Got rotated.
Whatever binary reason. I still don't understand that. But if he hasn't scored against Brentford, which is the type of clubs he usually scores with against, the big six like Chelsea, he usually doesn't score. So I'm definitely benching him. I wouldn't start him, like I said, to begin with, but you're forcing him on me.
Gary, Darren would not drop him. He would stick with him. Revanite says bench and come on as a sub in the 60th minute for me. You got to earn his place back. Martinelli would be up front then. So we got to engender some kind of competition, Gary.
Yeah. In this particular scenario, I kind of feel like if you're getting prepared for these first 3 games, or for say first 4 games, for example, hopefully you're seeing something in practice that is leading you to believe that, it's just game day jitters or something like that you're not seeing, because that's what Arteta always talks about, right? We never see half of what's going on until game time.
Training, Gary.
But whatever they're doing behind the scenes, expect it. It's like I said, is Arteta. Is he confident in himself that he can actually sit Aubameyang? Because as far as I'm concerned, it would be the whole team would have to. He would have to have the team would have to be on his side as far as what he's saying, asking them to do and what they do, to where he can make that decision and it won't affect the team. I mean, I think a lot of the players they're out there trying to do the best for the team, not necessarily the best for Aubameyang and stuff like that.
We saw some. To answer your question, Gary, we saw something like that in the North London derby where Aubameyang was late to the game.
Yeah. So I think the team basically they're all about the team first and not necessarily dealing with the one player. If he comes out in those first 2 matches and, for example, not even that he doesn't even score, but say he only gets like 1 shot in each match, right?
He looks lost.
Then you can't continue like that. I mean, this is basically what we saw with Willian, right? He basically was out there, but not providing some of the things we expected to see from him. But he kept putting him out there, and we suffered for it, right? We suffered. I mean, you look at that September, October months, right, where we struggled. I believe he played a lot of those games, or even if you sprinkled in a little bit of Pepe in there, but it wasn't enough where Pepe had enough to make a change. So in this case, you're gonna have to see something in the next 2 matches, right? Because we're playing some decent teams, right? When you come back to England, I think I wouldn't look at those, but I would expect hopefully to see something in this scenario where he says that he likes to have the crowds, and I think the crowds will be a lot bigger in these matches. So if it's a lot of Arsenal fans there, then it's going to be, that kind of atmosphere that he supposedly likes, right? Because that's his thing is that he likes to be playing in front of crowds. Well, he had a little bit of a crowd in the last 2 matches, and he hasn't looked good in either one. So I think that the crowds will get bigger. But, yeah, it's going to be a tough one. I don't think Arteta is that kind of manager where he can take that, because he's going to have to talk about it with the media, so I don't see him doing it. So I think he's going to suffer through those first 3 matches, and then do what he usually does, right? Is after the tough challenges come up, then make that decision when it doesn't really matter anymore, because we're playing a team that, as far as quality, is a drop, right? Yeah, you play Chelsea, Man City, and it doesn't matter who you're playing after that, unless it's Man United. It's going to be a drop in the quality of opponent,
Yeah,
So
I
at
think
that point, it's the damage is done. You didn't really fix anything. You just kind of gave him a rest.
I
So
think the fourth game will be Norwich at home as well, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
G said if he doesn't score, he needs to put in a performance at least. Right
Yeah.
now, we have neither goals or performance. At least
He-
for Laka, there's more to his game.
he doesn't provide everybody has said. You're asking him to do things he doesn't do. Every time we talk about Aubameyang, it's like, well, he scores, but we need him to do that. Well, he doesn't do that. We need him to do this. Well, he doesn't do that. He doesn't hold up the ball.
He doesn't combine
Yeah.
He
too well.
doesn't
He's
fit our
different-
system at all.
Yeah. So I think that's going to be a challenge for him. So he needs, like I saw him in the last match. He was coming back, kind of like what we saw with Harry Kane, where I was like, no, get up top because we need you up top, close to the goal. I don't want him coming back. If he's coming back, then that's not good because he'll never be up top where we need him when we attack. So he needs to stay up top. He needs to be in the middle of the field, in front of that box. He needs, the crosses come in, the passes come through. He's got to be putting that ball into the back of the net. That's for me. That should be his main focus, right? I mean, not too many other players can we say, here we go. We're going to give you one job, and that's it, right? His job's got to be get the ball in the goal, past the goalkeeper.
And
we're going to give it to you in positions, and we saw it in this match, right? The last match, he had the ball in good positions, off the left, right in the front, on the left-hand side coming across. So he's got to have opportunities. He needs to be up there ready to go. I mean, Martinelli, when he's not probably going to play in those first three matches, right? Because he's going to be playing in the Olympics and get a break for 10 games.
yeah,
So he probably won't play at least the first two.
we're going to start the season. We'll get into that in a little bit. We're going to start the season with some strange combinations at the back, especially probably Pablo Mari and Rob Holding to start with, because I don't know if Ben White can get up to speed coming back July 26th from holidays to get conditioned and be ready for the 13th is going to be a big ask. Ravenite said, I wouldn't trust training Arteta keeps seeing Willian doing miracles in training.
That's what he keeps telling us, though. He keeps telling us. We just heard Southgate tell us that based on what he saw in practice, this is how I'm going to line up my penalty kickers in a final. I mean, these managers are telling us. I mean, you got to believe them at some point that they're telling us exactly what's going on, right? They're telling us that they look at practice and because they couldn't have looked at Saka's practice and said, you know what, that will translate to the game,
Darren,
when you take a PK, so I don't know.
If you just joined, guys, hit the like and subscribe. Thanks, Darren. Really appreciate that. And, we're trying to build a nice, neat, concise community here. We don't want to be the biggest. We don't want to be the best. But we do want to be somewhere where you're going to come and call home.
Yeah. The scary part is Arsenal paid him. I think they paid him more money than he probably was expecting. I don't think he had that hunger, to get a big salary. I think Arsenal was just holding on to something good and hoping it would continue.
Mm-hmm.
And likewise, it never does, right?
And yeah, for sure. Darren hopes to see his first ever game. I think it's going to be the Chelsea game at home. But as Gary's saying, Tony, is it just rust? Gary spoke very highly about the three chances that Aubameyang had, clear-cut chances, and he didn't take one of them.
No, I don't think it's just rust. I think he's past his prime. I was pretty much only one on the panel that said not sign him, don't re-sign him, especially for $300,000. He was on $200,000 plus £45,000 bonus per goal. That's enough money. Why did he need $300,000? It makes no sense.
Oba has lost.
To me, he's past his prime. He definitely doesn't fit the system that Arteta's going for. When we were playing the back three, he was scoring more from the left, but last season he wasn't scoring from the left. He wasn't scoring from the middle. I don't know why he was getting so many starts when Lacazette was scoring left and right, getting benched for Eddie.
The funny thing, Tony, is that Lacazette scored a certain amount of goals, but he still only scored 3 or 4 goals more than Aubameyang. When all
Yeah,
is
but
said and done.
Aubameyang came in hat tricks and braces in just a few handful of games.
Yeah.
It's not even that for Lacazette, because if what he lacks in goals, which if you're saying he's only a couple goals behind Aubameyang, just think about all the other stuff that he does. He holds up the ball. He brings in the youth, right?
Yeah.
He plays
when
defensive forward.
When this whole thing changed, who was sitting up top, right?
Lacazette was there.
Exactly, right?
Saka. You're right, Gary. It's invaluable what player that it's the head of the arrow, the tip of the sword, can include Saka, Emile Smith Rowe, Pepe, and other players, and bring them into the. So if we were to analyze it, we would think that a lot of Saka's goals came when Lacazette's on the field, Emile Smith Rowe, and Pepe as well. Yeah. So Tony, the 3 chances Aubameyang had. First one, ring rust. He gets under the ball, skies it over the bar. Second one's a clear header. He missed times very badly. And third one, it looks like a tap in, as Gary talked about. He wasn't careful enough. He put it in the place where the goalkeeper could block it.
Yeah, he's just not clinical enough right now. I don't think he has the passion that he needs to have. I think he's just happy with his paycheck, happy to go wrap his cars. I don't think he cares about winning that much. If he did, he would try harder, or he would have left Arsenal.
You don't think a precursor to the predictions podcast, Tony? We're going to get you on record a little bit here. We won't hold you to it. You can change your mind, but you will be on record. Do you think Aubameyang will bounce back next season?
No. Big no. No in capitals with about 3 exclamation marks.
Bouncing back will be more goals than, I think he finished with 15 total, or more goals than 10 in the league. No? Okay, you don't see it. Alonso, do you think Aubameyang will bounce back next season?
I do, actually. Whenever you lose, whenever mom's sick and you don't feel like playing right, and you get malaria, that also plays a part, I think, and so you get a lot of things happen to him, and I don't think that the COVID stuff really helped him at all either, being isolated and stuff like that. And he learned from his mistakes with being late to this first game. With all that said, I think that he can bounce back. He's gonna have to. He is still a captain after all, and I think it will kind of show his true character if he does come back around and score goals again. So yeah, I mean, I'm hoping for the best for him. I don't want his tenure at Arsenal being a failure, because he's a good player still. I think he just had a lot of things going on in his life that really hurt him on the pitch as well. So I think that he'll be all right. I think he'll bounce back.
Yeah, I'm bouncing back. Tony doesn't think so. Alonso does think so. We're going to say bouncing back, Gary, is more than 10 league goals this season.
Yes. Will he bounce back? Okay, here we go. Based on what I'm seeing in the preseason right now, no. But I'm going to give him 3. I like to say 3 strikes and you're out. I don't like to go to 2, but he's already done that. So, how he plays in that Inter, I expect him to play in the Inter game that we're going to play. But maybe I'll even give him the next game. But I kind of feel like I need to see some improvement from game to game. I guess he got more opportunities in this one, so maybe that's a positive against a tougher team. We're going to play another tough team coming up in a week. So will he? Yeah. So a week from now, we'll see him play against a tougher team. It is a trip. I guess they leave on Monday, is what I heard. So he'll have time to get acclimated to Florida. He probably will only play 45 minutes, so he's going to have to make it count. If I don't see it then, and I'm going to be concerned that it's not there. I mean, he needs to, but will he is the question. And I don't, at some point, if the things that are going on around you are affecting you that well, then you can't perform. Do teams sit around and wait for you to figure it out? At some point they have to move forward because they've got 20, 25 other players on that team that are leaning on you, and if you can't bring it, you're going to have to go elsewhere, right? So I could see him maybe struggling in those first two games, and like I said, actually coming in against City, because it might be a game where, we're probably not going to get that many chances anyways, right? Because they're going to have the ball most of the time, and like I said, at least we'll hold the ball up. And if they, he had opportunity when we played City the last time, he had opportunities in that match, right? Yeah. So and we're going to hopefully be better around him, right? So hopefully there'll be players there to help him out. So yeah, I right now, I know we're not supposed to use preseason, but they're out there playing to show us something, and he's not showing me enough, right?
That leads me to my next question, Gary, and want to welcome Charlie Harris. It's good to see old faces coming back and revisiting us again. Some repeat business. If you're a restaurant, you want to feel like you had a good meal and you want to come back and get some more from us. So thanks, Charlie, for coming back to us. Gary, yeah, I'm looking at the team we're putting out, and it's Scotland, okay, and the established players are saying, okay, it's the first leg, so maybe they're taking it. They shouldn't be this mindset, but maybe they're taking it a little bit easy, not worried about it. Whereas you're a Tavage, and you've just come to a big club in status, Arsenal. You're going to put it out there. You're going to want to do something, and you did that last season.
Well, just if you look at the first match, if you look at, for me, Hutchison and Francis, those are two young players who came out, and I believe they did themselves pretty well in terms of how they performed in that match, right? And in the time that they had out there. So it's, this isn't just a jog around, a little walk around, kind of thing. For me, if you're going to get out there, you might as well try to get something out of it, and it can't just be getting cardio. If you're not, because you need everything, right? You need to be able to put yourself in good positions. You need to be able to score when you get those opportunities and all that type of. I think all of it, and I might expect you to be clinical, like you would be in the season. But if you get 3 chances, I expect you to score. And that's I'm going to keep going back to that.
Especially in a glorified training session.
Get 3 great chances. You got players that want to impress. Tony, you got Eddie Nketiah.
And this one last thing before I go, if you watched the first match and saw how they scored on that corner, you got to come back better with better performance on corners. They looked worse with just more senior players on the pitch during that time. So
we're
the new coach.
That's a good point, Gary. We'll touch on that very soon with the set piece coach. We'll get to that very soon.
Can we fire him already?
Tony and Nketiah scoring a goal. This is Eddie. This is trademark Eddie. He makes a chance for himself and he scores off his own chances.
Yeah, he scored, but he'd still be going for me. He needs to be sold this summer. He's not.
Yeah, and that's his motivation, is to find probably a club and move for himself as well. He knows he's probably not going to stay this season on Arsenal. So you have a squad of players that are going out for preseason and they have different objectives. Aubameyang knows he's going to get that armband first game of the season. Whether we like it or not. Yeah, he does.
Tierney signed a 5-year contract. He should get it with his extension, since Uba got it with his extension. Why not?
It's like you have a job when you go on holiday. You still have a job when you come back, right?
He doesn't do the job. What does he do to help as a captain?
The armband hasn't been taken away from him. So do you want to have a little friendly bet that Aubameyang won't be in the team on August 13th, Tony?
Sure.
Gary, do you since we're in the betting mode here, I think Aubameyang starts August 13th. What do you think?
I can see it. Tony, I don't know. The odds aren't in our favor, right? This is
talked himself into it, Gary.
Yeah, no, I don't see it. I mean, if this was a team with some ambition, then I could see either definitely Aubameyang maybe being gone, but I don't think
Lego
one
man
who's
come
one
to
one
his
who's going to
senses,
pay.
Gary.
Nobody's paying that salary, so that's the problem with this whole thing. That's why he's not going away. Lacazette is the easier, even though he's the one that we actually need. We need a Lacazette, but we can't afford to keep both of them. For me, anyways. I don't think we can afford to keep both of them if we were ambitious.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I wouldn't take that bet. I wouldn't take that bet.
Well, he
Before I
did
go, you were talking about Eddie. First game, clear open field, goalkeeper in front of you, pick a corner, you score. No.
It's rough.
Second chance
Gary.
in the middle of in the box with defenders all over you, not all over you, but in front of you. Let's see, I got to pick it to the far corner. Got it. Inconsistency, whatever it is. That's why he's not. That's why he's not further up in the as far as being close to getting playing time with Arsenal.
Yeah.
He needs more playing time, so he needs to go.
Let me get to Alonso then. Alonso, are you starting Aubameyang on August 13th?
Yeah. Well,
only 3-1.
I mean, if
I
you're
don't know.
gonna,
I didn't say I'm starting him. I say he will start.
Yeah.
well,
Same thing. Not the same thing, Brian. I got you. Alonso?
if Aubameyang starts right and he scores, it's good for him because he's a player, in my opinion, that feeds on confidence, right?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
you want to hope for him to play well first game of the season. And granted, this is only the second game of preseason. Not everyone's gonna score. And like Gary said, he had a lot more chances in the first game than he did against the first team. He had a lot more chances in the second game than he did in the first game. So there's optimism right there. There's optimism. But so if he doesn't start to become more ambitious with scoring and appreciating, then there's kind of an issue. Not a problem, but an issue. But it'd be interesting to see what happens in that tournament with Chelsea and Tottenham the week before the season starts, and how Arsenal and Arteta handle it, because those are rival teams. Granted, it is preseason, but it is against a rival, so we have to make sure that they beat them and beat them good. So I think this is how more so is going to happen in those two games leading up to the first game of the season. So,
yeah. Now I'm going to move on to the difficult topic, Gary. I think, I think we talked around a little bit the last few minutes. The experienced players probably are taking these first couple of games with a very lackadaisical approach. The players who want to impress are trying to impress. And could we put this down to our defensive frailties in terms of the coach now? We did change out a set piece coach. In the last two games, we conceded three set piece goals.
Yeah, and I know our set piece defense has been pretty good compared to the league, right? Yeah. But whenever we gave up a goal, they all look the same, right? So certain little things happen. To me, it's always you always look and you're like, all right, why is Saka or why is Bellerin on that particular player, and why do they just let them run away? And why do the center backs just stand there and watch this all happen and none of them attack the ball? They all sat back kind of waiting to head it while it's still on the ground and the ball's high up, and it's that's what we see every time. And it's like, you know what? Nah, it's not working here. We can't. I mean, that's the only chances they had. Those are the best chances they had to score, and those they should have low percentage of actually achieving those goals, right? So yeah, those are things you got to work on, because they look to me. There's things you should be able to work on and come back the next game and do better each time, right? If it didn't happen in the first game, I would have said all right, but it happened in the first game, regardless of the VAR decision. Second game, you expect to do better, and then if you give up one goal, okay, then you give up another one. Oh boy, no. These are time to work on little things like that, because those are the big things that come back to haunt you, right?
Is this something that should get back to normal as the games go on, Gary?
I hope so. I hope so. I don't like. I mean, I hope.
Because
I hope. I hope so. I mean, like I said, it
you
wasn't like
combine,
we had new players out there for the first time figuring out how to
well,
play the
we had
Arsenal way.
we
It
had
was
old bad players out there.
well, it was Bellerin for me. It was Bellerin and Marie for one of them goals, and so I consider them senior players who've been around, who understand what needs to be done, and they didn't get it done. They didn't do it at all.
So, Gary, if you combine the two things we've been talking about for the last hour here, which is prolificacy in front of goal and Aubameyang not scoring, combine that with bad set-piece defending, it doesn't make a good combination for the coming season.
And like you said, I think the fire that you want to see from these players, did they enjoy what they just did the last two seasons, finish 8th? That's going to be some momentum. So you want to come in to the season all cylinders going, right?
Mm-hmm.
So and that starts as soon as you step, you put on that shirt. As soon as you step into the building, the season's here. We're going to be doing Arsenal 4 or 5 days a week, and that's what it's got to be, right? You get your rest and all of that, but they need, it's all, and for me, it's all in the head. You gotta, mentally, you got to be ready to go. I mean, look what Tierney did, right? He felt a certain way about the situation that he actually said, I'm not going to take a full vacation. I'm going to come back soon, early, so I can get in and get some, get back with the team, right? And that's what you want to see from your players. He wasn't forced to come back. I know it was in Scotland, so it made it easier, but he wanted to come back sooner, right? He wants to get back into the team. He wants to get the team going, and that's what the leaders do, right? Aubameyang was out doing all of his exercising in Greece and stuff, and then we come back here, and the first thing we're saying is, they just haven't got their cardio and all this going. I'm like, what was he doing in Greece? Wasn't he working on that stuff? So when he comes in, he's ready to go. All right. So for him, it's not cardio. For me, from what I'm seeing, it looks like it's just finishing. But I don't know how many times in front of a goal do you need to get. Right. So
I think when they go away, they've been given the briefs, they've been given the diet that they should try to stick to, and I think they submit numbers in terms of, because the summers, their time off is becoming less and less in between the end of the season and the start of the next season.
Well, their careers are short, right? These aren't careers that you do for 15, 20 years. I mean, players that are over 10 years, that's actually pretty good, right? When they become professionals, the season, there's at that level, at some point at that level, they're not going to be able to keep it up for 10 plus years. That is pretty, it's when it happens, it's pretty good, but it doesn't happen for most players. All right. I mean, you're looking at some of the top players in Arsenal over the last number of years, where they are now. Each step, it's a step back, right? It's a step back to a team not higher up in the table, a step back maybe to a league that's not as tough. So, if you become an athlete, your time is valuable. Getting away is good too, because you need to reset. But you got it and it's time to go. You got to go, and you don't. I think that's why they're paying you all this money. Right, all this money is coming in because when you get out on the pitch, we're expecting to see certain things from you, So there's a responsibility there to actually perform and get your body right when you come in. That's why the whole Willian thing kind of is a little disappointing, right?
Yeah, there's a personal responsibility as well. I mean, you have to care about your job. Everybody has to care about the job. They have to care about keeping their job, and they have to set a certain standard for themselves. And maybe it doesn't meet exactly the standard that your company wants it to meet, but you have to set a certain level to where it's not becoming an issue, where your workplace is saying, well, you're not hitting the standards we want you to hit. You gotta at least meet them somewhere past the middle, let's say, when it comes to that. Tony Alonso, I wanted to get your thoughts on the defensive situation, the frailties in our coaching of set pieces.
Yeah, last year we were near the top in plus and minus on set pieces. Now we hired this buddy of Arteta for whatever reason. Doesn't seem like the players know what he wants or seem confused or don't care what he's trying to direct them to do. It's just not working at all right now. Hopefully it gets fixed soon, but I don't know if it will or not.
Last season, Tony, we had the third best defense, 39 goals conceded. Hit my prediction of under 40. So, kudos to me. We'll be doing predictions podcasts maybe in a month or so closer to the season. But, Tony, we need to maintain that kind of standard. Bringing in now, we have three pretty decent players in our back four. I mean, you would probably include Callum Chambers in there, but we're going to have Ben White, Gabriel, and Tierney at the back.
Yeah, we got a strong back four, but your back fours doesn't really matter on set pieces. It's with other players, everybody man marking, everybody doing what they're supposed to do, and they're not doing it right now.
Tony, what is your refreshment of choice today?
Just water.
So the cabin crew is going to be handing out refreshments and snacks. Alonso, are you repping the Pepsi?
No. I drink lemonade.
Nice.
All right. What are your thoughts on our defensive situation? You think it's something that's going to sort itself out, Alonso? Are you worried about conceding three goals from corners in the first two games?
Not really, because we're in preseason. It's only about the second game. So these things hopefully can work themselves out. And like you said, we have to build on the third best defense record in the league. And that's not too bad considering we didn't score enough goals in the beginning of the season. So it kind of hurt us a little bit. But I think bringing Ben White in is going to help us a lot because he's still very young. He's English, so it kind of helps also, in my opinion. Yeah. I think that you got to build off of our defensive record, and I think the set piece problem will work itself out. I think that these are professionals, and you just got to be out. You got to be aware and mindful of who's around you, and get the ball out. And it's kind of simple. And for some reason, Arsenal players tend to get overzealous about the situation, and all you gotta do is get the ball out, and they'll be fine.
Yeah, and people will talk about Ben White not being very good in the air, but I think we're going to be a possession. I think Arteta wants to be a possession-based team, and we need to get to a point where we're going to possess the ball 10 to 15% more in games than we have done last season. I want to be looking this season at our possession stats going up, and when you hold on to the ball, you're not going to concede as many goals. In theory, at least, that's how it works, Gary, so we talked a little bit earlier at the start of the podcast. We're going to start into this now. We've been plugging gaps. We got Tavares in, left back cover. Lokonga, possibly in midfield cover, may not be one for this season. In fact, they might play a similar amount of games this season, 6 to 10 games if they're lucky. When we got possibly a starter, you like starters. Ben White might start. What are the other positions you're looking at? How many more would you want? How many more physical players? I know you're going to say 4, probably, right? Realistically, you think should come in?
You said Ben White might start. If that's the case, then
he will.
This is all wrong. What we're doing here, you spend $50 million on a player, and you're thinking maybe he might start. Like you're saying, you're on Arteta, but if you're thinking maybe, then I think we did this all wrong. Right? Something about this doesn't make any. It doesn't make any sense to me.
He's a starter. I thought I said you like starters, and Ben White's going to be a starter.
Yeah, you said maybe he'll start. Is what you said. If you go back on the video, I know you said maybe. He's got to be a starter, or else what's the point of getting him?
Yeah, 50
So,
million, he's got to play,
So,
right?
well, it's not even he's got to play, but Arsenal can't be spending that much money on a player that might come off the bench. No, he should be considered one of the starters going in, and he has to lose. He has to lose his spot by somebody else who wants it more. All right, so I expect him to be starting. I expect, it would be nice to. I think a right back is at least not high on their list. Another player for the midfield, be it a CDM or a CAM, depending on how they want to play, I think is definitely a required position that we need. So if Aouar plays, I'm expecting him to start. Right? If we bring him in, I'm expecting him to start. What that does for Milsroof Row, we'll see. But we need to bring him in. It'd be nice to have somebody. Another CDM that could be considered a starter. So I think there's two positions I think to come in. Whether they're going to be day one starting 11, it remains to be seen. But they should be part of that rotation where it might be a day where Partey has a partner next to him. It might be a day where Partey sits back and has two guys in front of him, depending on what's going on. So that's kind of what I would expect to see there. We need a number 2 goalkeeper, a number 2 goalkeeper, because no matter what we're doing, if Leno's staying, if he's going, we're still going to need a number 2 goalkeeper, right? So no matter what happens, we need a number 2 who we can lean on and expect to start. We might need a 1 and a 2, depending on what goes on with Leno. So that's the part that's a little interesting there. We'll see how that plays out. But yeah, and last but not least, I think the dream is a striker, right? Everybody's talking about getting a striker in there, somebody who put the ball in the net,
Yeah.
But I think that's a dream right now. I think they're going to spend so much money on the next 1 or 2 or 2 or 3 players that they bring in. They're not going to have enough unless they can sell someone, right? Right now, I think we've sold how many players? How many players have we sold?
2. 1.
Sold?
Did we sell anyone?
Have we sold anyone? Is any player officially off the Arsenal books right now?
Scratching my head.
We've gotten rid of about 8 players, but we haven't sold anybody.
see, that's the problem. So I think to get a striker, we would have needed to sell someone. If that's Lacazette, I'll say, so be it. Get Edouard in there, right?
Yeah, but you could get Edouard for Eddie money.
No, but that's when you look at the priorities, right? I think strikers low at the bottom, so they're not going to get a striker when they've got Lacazette and Aubameyang sitting there. They're not going to. I don't think they're going to.
Maligan needs to go out on loan. Eddie needs sold. You can't start
exactly. Another reason why they're not. They're not rushing, right? Like you said, they've got Martinelli that could, come in as that third striker in the list if they really need to, but they're not going to. I think getting a striker. It's almost like getting a striker is almost like, what they've got Marie and they've got Gabriel as their right center backs. They're content with that right now, right? So they're not looking for that, But they don't need a striker. They got too many on the books as it is, and they can't sell.
Sounds to me like striker is a contingency plan. If Eddie moves, then they're going to move for a striker.
It doesn't matter if they have Eddie or not. It's not. He can't play for this team.
I agree with that.
He can't play for this team. He needs to go out and play. He's not going to get that with Arsenal, and he's not in a position to take anybody's spot.
Alonso's computer is still going strong. Has not quit yet.
He gave it a little boost. He gave his computer a little boost. So now he's got the air flowing underneath.
Okay. So possibilities are Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Edouard, maybe there. Ollie Watkins. I'm still gonna beat that drum.
Arsenal's not that bold to make a play like that where they can put it out there.
I was looking at his stats. A little bit over 30 games, Gary. He scored 14 league goals, and that's almost 1 in 2 for Ollie Watkins. And I think he would prosper at Arsenal as well. Other people have been talking about Tammy Abrams. Alonso, is that something you'd be interested in, Tammy Abrams?
Sure. Tony, this is the first thing I have an issue with. I think, Arsenal had gotten too dependent on trying to sign Chelsea players and then not work out, or re-sign them at the tail end of their careers. Tammy Abraham rather.
Mm.
He has shown flashes of greatness, but that's just flashes. That's not a constant thing, because if that were the case, he'd still be at Chelsea or yeah, right. So to me, he doesn't have what it takes to be an Arsenal striker. And I'm tired of being linked with Chelsea players as an Arsenal fan because they don't work. They just don't work out here. We signed William last year. That was pitiful. David Luiz is coming out as back in his career. He did some good things, but he wasn't. He also had his mess ups. He also had his mess ups too. So even Peter Check, and William Guttis for that matter. So yeah, I mean,
Stop! Don't keep mentioning those Chelsea players. I
right.
urge.
But the
Yeah,
problem
got
is, Ray, is that they come here to die, basically. You know, and at what
They
point
get to retire first.
We are the elephant graveyard of footballers, right?
They
Like
come-
Chelsea,
we
they
get
just come and they just like they
Willian.
get to sit.
and not only that, our players go there and they win trophies. I don't get it. You know? Oh well.
Darren is mesmerized with your Alonso's butterflies.
That's not my butterflies, man. That's not my crap. That's my mom's.
Hey, it's your background right now. It's your background. You gotta find
If you
different
pull the
backgrounds.
butterflies, you will see people will start complaining. So you just enjoy it because they enjoy they like talking about the butterflies.
Definitely, it's calming. It's good stuff.
We need to
Because
learn one
we-
each time Alonso's on. We need to learn about a butterfly.
No, think about it. Every time we're talking about Arsenal, we need to bring our heart rates down, and the butterflies are like, just,
Does it balance it out for you, Gary?
Tony, you wanted to jump in on the Tammy Abrams.
I was just jump in general. This summer, we seem like we're targets 23 to 25 years old. No older guys, no younger guys. But age group we should be going after. I don't see us going after him. Hopefully we don't.
And I think it's definitely been, we've talked about how old our squad has been the last few years. It's definitely been a sea change. Tavares, we know is going to have some problems defensively, but it was refreshing to see what he could do going forward for us. And
Can
hopefully,
you pick one way to say his name, Ray?
Tavares.
There you go.
You're just bitter. You're just bitter because I trapped you into saying Aubameyang isn't going to start on August 13th.
He isn't.
We shall see, my friend. We shall see.
you heard it here first, folks.
Heard it here first.
Aubameyang, the captain of Arsenal, won't even be on the field when we start.
So, Tony, we're not going to talk about right back in your presence. So, what midfielders do you want in the team now? It looks like midfield is the critical area. We danced around strikers. We know we need a second goalkeeper. But for you, who are the two midfielders you would like to see?
I'd like to see Odegaard. I really don't care who the other ones are. We just need depth there. Just hopefully, I don't care who replaces Zaka.
Mm.
Doesn't really matter to me.
Gary, you want to talk about the stats you were throwing up there a little bit earlier? We were talking about the stats between Locatelli, not that you throw it up, we'll just reference it, Madison and Houssem Aouar. And it seemed to me that Locatelli, his stats are more geared towards ball retention, holding on to the ball, which is something that definitely Arteta would like. You look at Madison, you look at Houssem Aouar, and have very similar stats in terms of shots on goal, shots per game, and percentage of shots on target. And their output seems pretty similar as well. One is 60 million, the other is way less than half that price.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think Arsenal, if they could get two players instead of one, Madison, they could get two players for that. I think that might be better for it. Especially they don't need. That means they don't have to play them as much. If you bring in a Madison, then you're gonna play him, and then maybe he gives you the same amount as an Aouar. I mean, Locatelli, I think is off. I think I saw it doesn't matter. He's staying, right? He's staying in Italy. So worst case scenario, he's staying in Italy. So
best case scenario, Gary, he's staying in Italy.
Yeah, so he's not going anywhere. Regardless. I mean, I think I don't know. Hopefully, Arsenal did not waste their time going down that rabbit hole, as we like to say, because we knew where it was going to end up. He just didn't want to. He didn't want to have to get on a plane.
We like going down rabbit holes in this show, Gary.
Yeah. I think that was. Hopefully they didn't waste any time, and that's my fear is that Arsenal sometimes waste their time on players that are just not. The chances are really slim, and they don't go after the players that are really worthy. I mean, we still sitting here talking about, we haven't talked about Bissouma, and he actually said he wants to play, and he would be a worthy player to have come in and play alongside Partey, right? He could start for Arsenal, depending on the formation right away. So why has that died down? Arsenal, went out and got a center back. Well, another CDM would be nice as well, right? I think Bissouma might be able to fit the bill there. So that's one that's a little, maybe because it's so easy to get them, they're not holding out. They're not really worrying about it.
Wow. It's going to cost a little bit of money. But let's play this game with Darren here. I want to get back to Darren, I haven't forgotten about your question about statues as well and legends. So I want to get back to that as well earlier in the chat. Gary, I'm going to throw this at everyone here. Here's a fun question. What position and number would you play if you had the opportunity to play for Arsenal, Gary?
This is a good question.
Wow. I guess I have to play striker, right? I have to. I mean, you can't see it over here, but there's a signed.
You already played for Arsenal.
There's a signed righty jersey over to my right over here that you can't see.
Right. For Arsenal, Gary.
So okay, so I kind of feel like I would like to. I like to play where Partey plays, right, and be that kind of, I guess, player playing between the boxes and stuff, and linking up play. Actually being able to come back and play some defense, and then also being able to start the attacks. So yeah, I think playing back there, kind of where Partey, I would like, if that's a 6 or an 8, or depending on how it's set up.
Well, whatever number you want, you have any number you want.
Hey Sam, it was a dream, and it isn't reality. And in reality, I would have to pay for my tickets to get into the match, much less, and then they probably wouldn't even give me a seat.
All right, Tony, same question. What number and position?
I'd be wanting to play box to box, so I'd want to be an 8.
8. Yeah, I would want to be probably. I was gonna say the same thing, but I'll take number 7, the famed number 7 on the right wing. Alonso?
I would take a center back, and I wear number 31.
Number 1. All right.
No, 31.
31. Is that your favorite number? Significance for that?
No. It's number 6, so I'll be center back number 6.
I thought you said 30. Did you say 31?
Well, no, I did, but I was just joking around.
That's Kolasinac's number. You know that?
No,
right?
So Campbell. That's So Campbell. Come on, Ray. No, I'll be number 6. Number 6. Center back number 6.
All right. Okay, let's pick up the other question that Darren put in. What legends, Gary, would you? What Arsenal players right now in the team would you want to be future legends?
Want to be?
Who will be our future legends?
Well, our Arsenal future legends. Hopefully, it's Saka if he stays long enough.
Yeah,
I'm fearful that Arsenal will screw this up, and he'll want to leave because he's ambitious. But Saka should be that player. I think Tierney should be that player. That we look at and go, you know what? It was great times having him here.
Mm-hmm.
I think even Ben White might be even in that realm because he's starting out young and he's going to grow with this team. But I think Saka and Tierney definitely. I'm fearful that Marcinelli might not be here. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Millsroof Row. I'm hoping that, it's a lot about for me the health. We'll see how he holds up this season. But Sakis should be the easy one. But Tierney will probably be the more is probably the one you want to put your money on.
Gary, what's Legends is such a wide-ranging term. What would be your definition of legend at Arsenal?
It's going to be a leader in a sense, and not just a leader with an armband, but a leader with their performances, a leader with their team. Bringing up the team. Being a team player in the sense that when things go down, there's a player that's vocal and bringing it. And getting the team going, right? And that's kind of what you see. You see that from Tierney, right? And you got to be able to perform, or else it doesn't help if you can't help, show how to do it, right? This is what we're going to need to do to get this thing done here and complete our goals. So that's kind of what I think. I think it's leadership, but it's not necessarily that you get the armband. It's more that you lead your team, you lead your line. You push yourself more than you push, than other players. That's kind of what you look at. You see these players that we call legends, and they always push themselves. They always do much better than they didn't necessarily need another player to push them along, right?
Mm-hmm.
They worked on their craft, and you could see the results of it, right?
They were driven.
You got to be mental. You got to drive yourself more than get driven. You don't want somebody pushing you along. Sometimes you need to be able to do that as well. I mean, just let's look at Henry out there putting in free kicks, right? That's a mentality. I can do these things, right? Can he play a 90 minutes? No, but he's still got whatever he can do, he does really well, right? And that's what you want from your leaders. You know what? I might be hurting here or there or having a bad day there or wherever, but I'm going to give you 100% in the places where I can, and you see that, right?
Byron said, don't know why Rocky hasn't got a statue. He deserves one, and definitely Rocky deserves one.
Yeah, I think the state of the team right now, they don't even know. Well, they don't know at the top, right? That's probably something that needs to be done soon, right? They don't even know. That's a problem. They don't actually know the history of the team that they bought, right? They don't know it at all.
Yeah.
Right.
Sam was speaking generally here. A legend has to have won a trophy and contributed a lot to winning it, and been in the club at least 5 years because some loyalty is required to be a legend.
Yeah. We were talking about based on what we have right now, and those are the only two. Those are the two guarantees, right? So yeah, you're right about they do have to walk across the stage, to get their medals, right?
Yeah. I think I asked Gary about who we should target. Tony, who should we target in midfield?
You already asked me.
Okay, then that's an easy skip. Alonso, who should we target in midfield?
Basuma, obviously because he brings he brings a lot what Xhaka doesn't do, and I like him. I like him a lot. I like what he brought at Brighton. He knows the game, English game. I really want him to be at Arsenal. I think the Congo is going to be signed, right? I think Sanchez is off to Liverpool, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Renato Sanchez.
Yeah. But yeah, I like him to come on. I would like to see, there's the rumors out there that we might get Alvaro or Madison. But I prefer Madison over Alvaro, to be honest. I think Madison has always killed us in the past. I think that he brings a lot to his game brings a lot to whoever he's going to go to. I think his style fits what we need at Arsenal. So,
yeah, Alonso is quite a big difference between Madison and Houssem Aouar in terms of price, Premiership. They call it Premiership ready. Although I kind of like hesitate to talk about that because I think any player, it's about fit at the club for me. If they fit, they'll spark. Madison's got some injury issues in the recent seasons as well, which makes me hesitate about Madison. And I think the noises about Husamara are getting louder and louder. That may actually happen. We're getting close now. We might want to. Arteta talked about possibly bringing more faces to the Florida tour. You know.
Yeah, that's exciting, but maybe he knows something we don't. And but yeah, I think that if we don't sign those players, then we always have Moses Rowe, who I think is more than ready to take over as number 10. I think that
He's not a number 10.
What, Tony?
He's not a number 10.
What is he then?
An 8.
Who
He plays better on the right. He doesn't play in the middle that much.
Which player? Which player are you talking about now?
Smith Rowe. He doesn't play in the middle much.
He does when he has the opportunity. When he's picked to play in the middle, he can. And the only reason why he didn't play through the middle is because Erdegaard was here.
Yeah, if Smith Rowe's so ready to be number 10, why are we looking at so many 10s?
We need a backup. He's not going to survive the whole season. Do you think Smith Rowe?
Odegaard's going to be a backup. Madison's going to be a backup. Arwar's going to be a backup.
Yeah,
it's all about rotation. Right now, Emile Smith-Rowe can't be asked to play 30-plus matches in a season, even if he could. Right? Oh, no. What did I say? Why did you?
Somebody killed a bunch of seagulls and made it.
I just have to come on in. I just have to come on in and shut Tony up.
I was like, what did I
Tony
do?
can't even get his say about legends. What do you mean? Shut up. Ray won't let me speak.
Oh yeah.
I think it's on.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Tony, God damn it, get out here, Tony. I'll tell you what, Tony. Oh yeah.
Sam's high on seagull blood.
Oh my
I'm
god.
reporting this, Sam.
Yeah. Well, you know, like I said, I think Emile Smith-Rowe. I don't think they're asking him to play 30 matches for them this season. You know, I don't think they need that from just not yet. I think he needs to work into that. So that's why it's okay that they bring in other players, right? Because I don't think that he's at the. I based on where he's come from, I think they want to ease it in, right? And he's going to get to play wherever they put him in the middle. They move him out to the left to the left, right? No matter what. So I kind of feel like that's fine. If you bring another attacking player in to help out, I think it's good. This is what we need right now. So, you know, I don't know what you say. What say you, the rest of the panel?
Well,
Anyway.
we got another 10 minutes, so yeah.
So like I was saying, I think Emile Smith-Rowe could be number 10. It depends on if you.
You're right, Alonso.
I mean,
yes, I can play number 10. He's done it many times.
I mean, we can't wait on, you know, coming here and spending money on players that may or may not come. I think Emile Smith-Rowe, if he's ready now, he should play. I mean, that's the problem with Arteta. He doesn't trust his players enough. And you have to get if the time's now for Emile Smith-Rowe, the time is now. Right?
The time is now. The time was the last half season, which he performed really well in. And, yeah, Sam, have your say, Sam. Get in there.
No, I just jumped on to say ESR. He can play number 10. He can play a few different roles, but he is a number 10 as well. He can play that role. He's done it a few times.
Let me throw something out to everybody. If we don't get a recognized number 10 as a backup to Emile Smith-Rowe, because I believe Emile Smith-Rowe.
Why don't they get one as a backup to him, right? We're looking at a starter.
Well, let me tell you what I'm thinking. Joe Willock.
Spend $60 million for a backup.
Joe Willock could play in that role behind the strikers.
Yeah, Joe Willock can because if Arteta wants, that's going to be exciting to see, isn't it? Oh, not exciting, but I think it's going to be interesting to see.
Uncle Artie refuses to play him there.
Well, then we have to see. If we see what happens now, because Willock, I don't know, we might sell him, but yeah, I agree with Ray. He can play that role, but it's whether Arteta, the Lego man, if he if he wants to play him there, right? That's the thing. We don't really know. There's a lot of question marks still there with the Lego man. He's got to produce some goods now. Got to produce some goods.
Sam, who do you want in midfield out of all the links, all of the players that are being linked?
Well, it's such a shame with Locatelli that he's. It looks like now that's not going to happen because he apparently, according to the reports coming out, he wants to stay in Italy. And Juventus can't get the money together to buy him in the way, the type of deal that Sassuolo want. So he doesn't want to come to Arsenal, but by the looks of it, which is a shame because I would have loved Locatelli. What a player! I think he's so good, real Rolls Royce player. I like that Renato Sanchez, but I don't think we're linked to him anymore. I think that was just a bit of a dead in the water type of link that was back a few weeks ago.
Just say you want Odegaard and get over with.
Odegaard, something could be happening there because Real Madrid they're struggling for money. They need some money, and if they want to get Mbappe, which they're talking about, they're going to have to offload a few players to do that. So could line up a way for Odegaard back to Arsenal, but I don't know. It's difficult to say because he's had a meeting with Ancelotti, and apparently Ancelotti has plans for him. So we'll have to see. There's still some twists and turns left in this transfer window yet. So we'll see what happens. I think we're likely to see another midfielder come in. Whether that will be a OR or a Maddison or someone like that, maybe Odegaard. I do think we will see someone come in. Because we are light.
You killed them damn birds.
I tried to, but I missed. Anyway, so
there's too many of them, Tony.
There's too, yeah.
They're cousins, they're brothers.
And the funny thing is, they always start screaming as soon as I start coming on here. So it's like they look like they keep an eye on me, and it's always going on now. So we start screaming. Anyway, so I do think we're gonna see one more signing because Lokonga is more. He's more long term. He's not going to come in and do a lot right now. So we are going to need to bring in someone else there in midfield, especially the more attacking role, to mix it up a bit more with Smith Rowe. So I think that's going to happen. But I just have my doubts about Maddison. I just can't see Maddison. I can't see us do that. He's going to cost a lot of money, and I just can't see Leicester selling him to us. I just don't get that one. I think it's much more likely an Aouar from Lyon, who his price has got to be much lower now, based on the last season and everything. So and the fact that Lyon need money. So I think that's a lot more realistic. And according to the Sky Sports news today, they're saying that we are lining up Aouar now as the next signing after Ben White. So we'll see.
And also, I guess if you get Aouar, you can still get Basuma. And that's still less than Maddison all by himself.
Yeah, it makes a lot more sense that way. Yeah, if you think financially, it does make more sense because you can, like you say, you can get both of them. Brighton, I think Brighton are gonna. I mean, do you think Brighton's gonna sell both Ben White and Basuma? That's giving away a lot, isn't it? I mean,
I hesitate to say that they're going to do that because they will struggle to stay in the Premier League.
Yeah, that's two key players for them. It really is. It's a spine of their team, isn't it? Central defense and central midfield.
It's all well and good having 80 or 90 million in your back pocket, but you would need to go out and spend on 4 or 5 different players. Real quick, I'll start off with you, Sam, since you just joined us. What are your thoughts on the shirts and the new strip?
It's a nice shirt, but it's getting to look a lot like Ajax for me. But it is nice. It is a nice shirt. I do like it. Yeah.
I like it too, and I like the striped socks. It reminds me of back in the mid '90s, I think.
Yeah, they were cool, weren't they? Those socks. I
remember Stefan Schwarz playing in that strip. That's
Stefan Schwarz, the guy had a clause in his contract where he wasn't allowed to travel to the moon.
Yeah, or something like that.
So pretty crazy stuff. So Stefan Schwarz, he's a decent player.
When you see a strip and they ask you like, which player does this strip remind you of? That's what it reminds.
Yeah, those hoop socks are really cool. They really were nice. Yeah,
I like the strip. I like the kit. Alonso, what do you think?
Yeah, so I kind of liked what Adidas has done throughout the time they've been with us. I think that each year they've put out a good kit for the fans, and Puma was just a joke, as far as putting out kits, and it didn't really seem authentic enough for us as fans. So I think they did this each year. They put out a good shirt for us, and fair play to them.
Tony, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, they just remind me of the old Dreamcast ones we had pretty much the same time.
I like the Dreamcast as well, but I'm not a huge. I don't usually get excited about the kits. Gary.
Yeah, I guess I'm not. I don't know.
Ray just wears the same one, fucking show after show.
Yeah, you know what?
Leave the man alone. All right, Tony.
People can buy a new strip if they want to, or they can say, I'm not spending all of my available cash on kit. So yeah, leave the man alone.
Yeah, leave the man alone. No, I guess I'm not. I don't really care about the jerseys. I mean, no matter, even for sports, I've been following a lot longer.
Behind you.
Yeah, I won this one. All right, it's gonna go in a frame. It's gonna get framed in a little, as soon as I can. But it's got the signatures on it of the team. I don't know.
Did Ray help you set the ballot on that to win it?
What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know, Ray. Are you being nice to me, trying to get
Tony.
Maybe look bad on the show here with all of your predictions always. With Tony,
the glass is always half empty.
That's exactly. He's in there throwing it.
Always half empty.
I did it for a good cause, and it, so Gunas versus cancer. So
you won. I remember watching when they pulled your name out of the hat. I know, Gary. I know.
So yeah,
ballot.
I got a couple of jerseys, but they're all old. I can't fit them, so it doesn't look like I don't look like a play when I put it on. So I really don't like, you know what I mean? It's like you watch the players put them on.
You look like Willian.
Yeah. And I don't like that look. So
you gotta put an afro wig on. You can be William. That's it. That's it, Dario. I've got your Halloween costume now.
There you go.
You've got an Arsenal kit and an afro. You say I'm William. Yeah, that's what you do.
I could definitely feel the jersey like him for sure.
Well, you better be sending him the money in the undergarment as well.
I want the undergarment with the money stashed in it. Or as we talked about yesterday, it's probably a lot of Mars bars,
Queen fried Mars bars up in Scotland. That's what it was. He went down the chippy.
We're going to finish out with one last topic here, Sam. I'll start you off. My theory: the fan protests against the Cronkies has sparked a spending spree to appease the fans.
I think. Well, you see, the thing is, we don't know yet until the end of the transfer window. So, we're going to have to wait and see. But I do have that feeling. I must say, and probably a lot of people are going to disagree with this, and that's fine. But
Alonso laughed me out of sight.
Yeah, I do think that we are going to see. I'm not. Maybe it's not some really big names, but I think we'll see at the end of the window. We've probably spent a lot of money. And that is, like you say, I think that is the idea behind that, is to sort of, appease the fans after the whole Europa, the Super League debacle and everything. So
get them back on side. Get some names.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. They're gonna try and shut us up because they know that's one way of shutting us up is getting in a couple of big players and spending some money. So and it's gone all quiet with Eck at the moment, but that makes sense because Eck's not going to mess up. He's not going to go in and do anything in the middle of the summer in the transfer window. He's going to wait until the dust settles after the start of the season. We start seeing what's going on. Then he's going to come in with a new bid. I think we'll see in the autumn.
Alonso, you thought my theory was a little bit funny there, which is fine.
Well, I laugh because sure, money is great and all, and we're spending money finally, right? But all that depends on this year coming up, right? Until next May, when we actually see the owners more often in the stands, because that to me will show if they really care, to see if they put pressure on Arteta or Adu to make changes, right? Because this can't go on forever. And we as fans have to pressure the Cronkies to actually be at the games to show that they care, or at least pretend to care, right? Because this should be the team that they should be worrying about, not the Rams, not the Avalanche, not the Nuggets. This is Arsenal, right? And you should put money towards us, not the other teams, if you're serious, right? So, that's all I gotta say.
Yeah,
about
fuck all your other business interests. Gotta keep only focused on Arsenal.
Fuck
Chronicle.
Walmart.
I'm sending Sam a shotgun for the goals. They're Gooner goals, so you can't
touch
the Gooner
them.
goals. You can't touch them.
You can't touch them.
Can't touch the Gooner goals. No.
The Gooner goals. Tony, you think the Cronkies are initiating a spending spree here to keep the fans distracted?
I think they're spending money to help keep us in Europe or get us back in Europe. We've been spending money every summer. We spent quite a bit last summer.
Let me put it in there. I'm really good. As the host, I've got to push some theories. I got to push some theories to you, Tony.
Yeah,
you like
push them.
I got to push them.
Tony's glass.
Yeah, there it is.
Tony's glass.
Empty as anything.
Tony, do you think when Arteta was hired as manager, he told the Cronkies, it's going to take 3 to 5 years. You can't touch me for at least 3 years. You can't stop me.
Was he MC Hammer? You can't touch me. You can't touch me.
You can't sack me.
No, Ray. No.
How do you explain finishing 8th place 2 seasons running and not being fired?
Well, why don't you explain that, Ray? Hey, Rainbow Ray.
No, that's how Uncle Artie
it's called
still got a
empty
job.
Stands, Ray.
I think Sam.
It's called empty stands.
Arteta was in a position of power when they.
What would happen in November?
Oh, you got to be kidding me! Did you just say that out loud? You thought it and then you said it. Arteta's in a position of power.
No, listen to me.
That's what I thought. Did I not hear that?
When I finish my sentence, it will become clear to you. At 1 a.m. in the morning, when they were talking to him up in Manchester, we all know about that meeting when they were trying to hire him. At 1 a.m. in the mornings, he was in that position of power. If you want me, you know that Arsenal.
Yeah, but they hired him as coach, not manager.
Manchester City have just beaten us 3-0. Arsenal's a mess. You need at least 3 to 5 years to sort things out. Give me 3 to 5 years, and then, well, you can't sack me within the first couple of seasons.
All those, I see the rainbow. As you talk, rainbows are just sprouting out. That's all I see is rainbows.
Come out your bumhole.
Well, gee, I'm glad this is
too many fucking Skittles and Lucky
this is the
Charms.
last topic.
I'll tell you what happened. This is what happened, right? This is what happened. Edu, and was it Raul? We went up there.
Vinay was with him.
Vinay, that was it. Vinay and Edu. They got the coordinates wrong in their fucking TomTom, and they were supposed to go to Pep Guardiola, and they fucking went to the wrong street, and they ended up at Arteta's house. And they're like, "Oh fuck it, we're here already. Let's talk to him then." We wasted this trip. Let's do it anyway. So they talked to him and said, "Okay, you want a job?" And he's like, "Yeah, I want the job. Yes." And then that was it.
And he said yes. Yes is the key phrase because that's what you're getting is yes.
And the thing is, this is the thing. A lot of people talked about this at the beginning. Surely, when he decided to come in to manage Arsenal as a rookie, as an amateur, that he would have been given some kind of backing in terms of getting what he needs, right? Or else it just makes no sense at all. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking now is like the big transfer window now. I'm thinking now is the big transfer window now to see if he actually gets that backing, or else if he doesn't get that backing, I mean, we know we do know where we need to place most of the blame. Then, right? I mean, that is again, it's going to be 80% at the feet of the Cronkies and 20% at Arteta, even though Arteta, he's questionable his ability. But if he's not getting the players he wants, if he's not getting any backing, then what can you do? I mean, if you're not being given the tools to work with, what can you do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Anyone else got final comments, final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like it's a setup. All right, it's a setup. I mean, is Arteta the man that's going to get Arsenal to the top of the table? Does anybody, even with all the players that he gets, does anybody feel like he's going to do that?
Yeah.
Anybody? Oh,
yeah.
Rainbow Ray does. Of course he does. Rainbow Ray on Saka's little rubber unicorn.
But,
so I asked the question, and only the nephew spoke, right? Only the nephew spoke. That's the only one that spoke. So obviously, it was still. I think we're all like, all right, let's see how this goes. He's going to get what we think he needs, or at least what he wants. Will he do better? I hope so. But can we wait that long? Right?
I hope there's a plan. Like I said, I hope there's a plan with this.
He may not. He may not get what he wants, Gary, because we are a mid-table team, and a lot of players are looking at us as a second and third choice in their options of where to move this season. So the stars
might got 3 players, Ray.
The stars might not.
Looking at 7.
So far, none of the players that he's picked, any of us are. We're not looking at like the Willian deal, right? So far, the 3 players that we've gotten come in, everybody understands how they're going to be utilized and can see the benefits of them. But Willian was not something most of the fans were looking at going, I think that could work.
It was like Chewbacca on the planet with the Ewoks. He just don't make any sense.
So far, all of the deals make sense.
Chewbacca defense, isn't it? Johnny Cochran. It just don't make no sense. Just make no sense.
So I think so, and you're right now. You're the only one that's on that train, Ray.
I'm on record as saying he needs to learn from his mistakes of last season, and I think every one of us
to learn, Ray.
Every one of us can learn to wait our turn to speak and think positively or negatively.
He used to put his hand up. He said, no, not today.
One last thing.
He still skipped me on the legends.
One last thing. We didn't get Sam's take on this. Sam, do you think Aubameyang will start August 13th?
Yes.
Should he start?
He starts because he's the captain, right? At the moment, he's still the captain. Should he start? No way. He shouldn't start. I would fucking sell him to fucking Brighton. But no, he shouldn't start.
Teams are looking for scorers, aren't they?
He's useless. Kevin Campbell could score more than him. He's 50 years old.
Yep. So listen,
put Kevin Campbell in there.
Darren, really like having you here with us, Darren, and everyone else who watched live today.
Drunk Darren. Darren's drunk with us.
Everyone else.
Hey, Ray, can we just hear what Tony has to say about his legends of the future legends of Arsenal? I want to hear this.
Yes, it's Ray fucking cut me off.
Just answer the question.
For me, it'd be Gabriel Magalhaes. It would be Saka and Tierney if Tierney can stay fit, but that's kind of unknown.
What about Cam Chambers?
I don't know about Gabriel, but I definitely like the other two.
If he's got Gabriel, why not Chambers as well?
Chambers not going to be starting.
Yeah, how do you become a legend if you can't get off the bench?
Yeah, he doesn't start. Chambers he's a good little lad, but he's not going to be starting, is he?
He's not a good little lad.
Do you think
Gabriel's going to be starting? Tierney's going to be starting. Gabriel's going to be starting. That's for sure. Saka, of course, is going to be. He's going to be great, isn't he?
Sam, do you think we're going to get a new right back?
It looks like Bellerin's here for the moment, doesn't it? I mean, it's no one wants to buy.
Almost done. He's almost bye.
No one wants to buy that moustache. What it looks like? Was it what D'Artagnan? Wasn't it D'Artagnan from the Three Musketeers? Didn't he? No one wants to buy him.
D'Artagnan.
D'Artagnan, whatever his name is, D'Artagnan, whatever you call it.
We'll get out of here right now.
Where are we going? What's wrong? Where are we going? What are you going to do?
I gotta go. I gotta shoot off. You guys want to continue?
Rainbow Ray in a rush.
Yeah. Well, we also
want out of Skittles and Lucky Charms.
He does 4 hours. He does 4 hours on a Thursday night, and then he comes on here and does an hour and 53 minutes.
Hour and 54 minutes.
Hey, we gotta have some balance here. We went.
Yeah, we gotta do some balances. Buy some Lucky Charms and Skittles.
Lucky Charms Skittles.
We're gonna get out of here right now. We're gonna leave you, as Alex says in Cannon Fodder, we're gonna leave you.
Run, Rainbow Ray, Rumbo, Rainbow Ray. You gotta run.
We'll leave you wanting more.
We don't want to see Sam get eaten alive by seagulls. That's why I raised
Fucking
it.
seagulls. I get an AK-47, shoot them all.
Thanks for watching, everybody. We're out of here. Stage 1 of the preseason is over. Stage
Are they
2.
like seagulls from what's that that cartoon with the what is it called? Oh boy.
And
Oh, those are
What
penguins. Right?
cartoon? What cartoons do you watch with seagulls?
Oh no,
Nemo.
it's got the penguins in it.
Nemo. Nemo.
Penguins are not seagulls. Fucking hell, where'd you go to school?
Sorry.
Madagascar?
Nemo's the closest thing. Nemo is the closest.
Nemo's the yeah, you're right. Nemo's the
Nemo.
closest. I was thinking about the
Nemo's
ones
a
where
fucking fish.
yeah, but the seagulls in there, they're great.
Oh,
Seagulls
the
are part
seagulls
of
in
it.
that film. Oh, I get you in that
I was
film,
thinking
yeah,
of the
yeah.
penguins in there, the one with the giraffe.
Madagascar.
The Madagascar.
Madagascar.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking of the penguins there. Yeah.
Yeah.
News may be thin on the ground Thursday, so we may actually do that long muted fever pitch watch along, but it won't be watch along. We'll be just talking about Arsenal as we watch the movie. So maybe we'll do that Thursday.
So wait,
We'll have
it's-
plenty of
isn't it?
players
So
in
that's
by
not
then.
that's
We'll
on
have to
YouTube. Oh, it's not on
decide, right?
YouTube, is it? Okay.
Amazon Prime.
It's on Amazon Prime. You're right. Yep.
So if you
We'll
get
have
it,
two
you
new
put it on.
players by
Put
Thursday.
it on mute. We'll sync it up, and we will. Because Arsenal life is the same as fever pitch.
You're
Life.
not Dixon. Quit it, Sam.
I'm Tricky Dicky.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Slap a
everyone.
like before you go, slap a like on it. Hit subscribe. As every other YouTuber says, I know half of you are not subscribed that are watching. Hit that subscribe button right now. We'll see you Thursday night.
Give us
Take
one of
care,
these.
everyone.
Thumbs
Thanks.
up. See ya.
And Arsenal may actually win a game in preseason.